The New Testament Christian School began in 1980 with grades K through 5 and 35 students as a ministry of the New Testament Church. We have enrolled homeschool as well as full-time families throughout most of our history. Our purpose was simple. As a classic tutorial education, we wanted to prepare young people for college. But most importantly, we wanted to prepare them to think clearly with a biblical worldview. Our philosophy of Christian education has centered around 3 ideas. 1, that Christ is the center of all knowledge, and the most important part about that is the fear of God.
They taught me a lot about how to look at everything in life from a biblical perspective. I am in nursing now, and it's helpful to have that biblical worldview just to be able to share things with them. And also, it really helped with my marriage.
I think what I appreciate most about this school is that it really gave me a strong worldview, and not just any worldview, but a biblical worldview, something that I can really take a hold of and use it to not only live my life, but be able to hear different things and be able to combat them and understand what other people are talking about. And I'm currently going to a secular school up in Boston. I'm a physician's assistant student, so I hear a lot of science-based classes. I have a lot of teachers, professors that are extremely smart, but I'm just constantly bombarded with a lot of the secular worldviews. But based on what TNT gave me with my biblical worldview, I really feel like I'm able to go into the world and not only stand, but also be able to present myself and present what I believe and what I stand for.
Second, God designed the mind to operate by reflection and reasoning. Therefore, in every class, at every grade level, we intend to train young people to speak and write in complete thoughts and complete sentences, becoming productive learners.
Well, the thing I appreciate the most about my education at TNT was the fact that they taught me how to think, not what to think or just to memorize facts or dates or anything, but I really found a way to think for myself and discern what was truth and what wasn't truth.
Once I got out into the world after graduation, I realized there's a lot of cluttered thinking out there, and a lot of people speaking from emotion and coming from all different sorts of walks of life. So it's helpful. What I learned at TNT was how to think principally and how to break things down to the root issue. So when you're talking with someone, you learn to sort of see where they're coming from, what their root presupposition is, and it makes it a lot easier to sort of communicate and understand what's really going on.
Third, we are a church school, desiring that families enrolled with us be active in a local church, desiring to serve their communities so that they can see God's will being done on earth as it is in heaven.
Speaking as an elder and also as a father, I have children in the school. I have a tremendous amount of value for it. I think, to me, provides hope and provides, as I think of the world at large, I think of my community, I think of my state and my nation. I'm so grateful for the precepts, because I know, just as a Christian man, that biblical concepts work. And the only thing that's going to change my world, my community, my nation, is to have men and women, young men and women, to understand clearly what a biblical worldview is and what it means and how to really apply it to everyday life. So to me, it's invaluable what goes on here.
Our vision is to see a new generation of young people arise in our culture who are producers and not consumers. We desire to see them take the Great Commission seriously, using their school years as preparation for reaching the lost and discipling those who are converted in a comprehensive biblical worldview. In order to do this, students are trained as leaders, sharing in their own chapels, leading worship, and ministering in various ways to others. In 30 years of ministry, student and parent teams have ministered in 40 states of the United States and 6 foreign countries while in school. They primarily minister on how biblical principles can change the lives of individuals, families, churches, and nations.
I want to protect my kids. I want them to hear. I want them to have a foundation that they can build upon. I want them to have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, obviously. But I just think it's just invaluable how important it is for us to be teaching our young children in the ways of the Lord.
The curriculum we use in the classroom is hand-picked for its logical thinking, academic excellence, and grade-level progression. Teachers are trained to teach biblical premises and principles with a comprehensive biblical worldview through the academic concepts of their various subjects.
I actually had the unique experience of being able to come back after I graduated from college and teach for 3 years at the school. I really wanted to do that mostly because I wanted to give back. I was so grateful for what had been poured into me as a elementary and high school student. I wanted to come back and do the same thing. And it's you understand some of the unique things your teachers face a whole lot different when you're the one on the other side of the desk. The hours that go into preparing the classes and grading the papers and so forth, and it's a real labor of love, but it is a real sacrifice. So be convinced that your children will be getting excellent teachers and teachers that really love what they're doing and love the students.
Reading is taught from an intensive phonetic approach. Grammar, taught from the earliest grades, and with the use of the notebook, helps prepare students for research papers in junior high and the ability to speak in public, giving orations. Latin is taught in junior high and Spanish throughout high school. The art of penmanship, along with computer software, helps us train students so that by the time they are seniors, they can write a 35 to 50-page thesis and defend its contents in front of a panel of faculty members. History, geography, and literature are taught from primary sources so that the providential setting for historic events can be understood through the classic literature of the time period. Mathematics, including trigonometry and pre-calculus, is also covered, and science is taught, pointing every student to the Creator through the use of labs and the scientific method. Music, choir, art, stained glass, forms of vocational training, including full-scale dramatic productions, round out a child's education. Community service projects help students to share with others what they have learned themselves. And competitive athletics round out a child's education as well, designed to equip young leaders, even on the basketball court. Students score 1 to 2 grade levels above the national norm on the Stanford Achievement Tests, as well as scoring more than 50 points above the regional norm on the Scholastic Aptitude Test for college entrance. Also, the Pierce Test, specifically designed to be able to discern a young person's biblical worldview in the categories of politics, education, economics, religion, and social issues, has demonstrated that our students score among the highest in the nation. Why? Because they've learned how to think and apply the Bible, not just what to think. We have now graduated 80 students, 80% of which have gone on to higher education. Nearly a quarter of our student body achieve honor roll status of 95% or better in all of their academic disciplines. If you are a family that wishes to equip your children to be leaders in the 21st century, offsetting the socialistic and humanistic trends that abound in our culture, we want to help you do that one family at a time. Whether you are homeschooled enrolled, utilizing our resources and curriculum, or have your children in full-time, we are ready to help equip you. We enroll families and not just individual students for the express purpose of equipping the entire family in a biblical worldview that is going to be absolutely necessary in the 21st century.
As home educating parents, my wife and I are definitely grateful for the school and what it's been to our family over the years. You know, we all know homeschooling is not an easy endeavor. It takes a lot of support, and we really appreciate the other homeschool families that we're associated with here, the available resources for curriculum as we need. There's also the ability for us to get trained as parents at the school to help better, educate ourselves for what we're doing with our children. We can go in and observe classes. There's other events that the school puts on that we can participate in to some degree. And also, as my children get older, we can plug them into some of the classes going on in the high school that are specialized maybe in things that we're not as strong in, so that all these things come together to really support the education that we're trying to do at home. So we feel we get the best of both worlds between the school and doing things at home as well as a family. So we're very grateful for what TNT offers.
School has been tremendous in supporting us and helping us as parents to develop our children to receive a biblical worldview, which gives them the opportunity to view everything from a Christ perspective versus a world perspective.
They're getting the same examples here from the teachers, from the staff, from other kids that they go to school with, all having similar beliefs.
With an experienced and well-trained staff, we invite you to become a part of our mission to equip families so that our churches and our nation might once again see the kingdom of God positively influence our culture.
It's smaller, so you really get to know the other people, your classmates, your teachers. They become more like family.
I would definitely recommend people to consider the school. I think it's important to remember that the school is kind of an incubator. It's a good place to have this atmosphere to learn to love God. And as kids grow in that and start to make their own choices, like I had to do, and to learn to follow God for yourself, the school kind of gives you those tools and gives you an atmosphere that's helpful to grow.
I definitely recommend TNT. I think it's a great education for your child, but I think an important thing to notice is that you're actually enrolling the whole family. So it's a big commitment. It's a worthwhile commitment, but understand, first of all, it'll probably be academically more challenging than schools you might have been familiar with in the past, even other Christian schools. So your child will probably have a struggle as he adjusts or she adjusts, but it'll also be an adjustment for you, because it's whether it's communicating with the teacher or helping your child with homework or whatever, it's enrolling the whole family.
I just recently watched a TV program when they talked about great men, founding fathers that were in university at Harvard and stuff at the age of 12 and 13. That would be like unheard of today, and yet it's the same type of strong educational background of just solid doctrine and even the way of teaching young children that created those founding fathers that have done such a wonderful job with laying down for forever, what has made this nation really great. And I believe that those are some of the precepts that are taught here in the school, the valuable things that, I know you're not going to get anywhere else.
If you want to take this challenge, contact us by phone or on the World Wide Web.